Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing? How you guys feeling after Thanksgiving? You guys feeling pretty good? A little rejuvenated?
Yeah, doing good, man. How you doing? You can't complain.
Yeah, I can't complain. I'm like Teja said. Yeah, I'm still full too. He and I had the same. I think Teja had a little more servings at Thanksgiving than I did, but yeah, still pretty.
Same amount of serving, just a larger plate.
Yeah, I would agree.
Throw that out there.
Hey, I had to rebut after he said that.
Well, we had this dude. We were sitting with this guy at it was like our niece's husband. And he, I hate when people do this, but, it was at the dinner table. He called out Teja's plate. They pointed at Teja's plate. He goes, man, that's a lot of food right there. And I was like, geez, oh, no, a lot of people got a lot of food in their plates, man. But the guy, totally, had to say that.
I didn't hear the comment. That's crap. I thought I would have done anything anyway. I mean, it's freaking thing.
Yeah, those are when you be like, dude, you don't know me like that. Like,
yeah. Then that's the beginning of the dinner. Then it gets like you have to sit near them all the rest of the time, like another hour or two.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna be uncomfortable. You're gonna be uncomfortable before I'm ever uncomfortable. So keep your mouth closed then.
Yeah. Eric, my style, if you haven't picked up by now, is to take that comment, but then give it back to you a few times throughout the night. So I'll take that from you and then just kind of slowly remember it and just let it leak out the rest of the night.
A few jabs and every once in a while a big punch.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I tried to have Teja back when I heard that one.
Yeah.
And I think he made another comment, which is the one you heard, Teja. You heard another plate comment, but that was the second one I had heard. And
he did twice. I didn't hear the first one.
Yeah, that's why we only have dinner with this guy once a year. So not to he doesn't listen to the Sixers show anyway. He's not a Sixers, not a sports fan. That's red flag, not a sports fan, red flag right there.
Too busy watching plays, not games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So since so we'll get right into it with the Sixers here. This is something that's kind of stood out to Teja. Now we were watching the Timberwolves game. We started talking about what's going on with our squad as far as when we play certain teams without certain guys. So that's kind of leads to our first question here. So this year we have 5 total losses. One was without Embiid against the fully loaded Minnesota Timberwolves, but the other 4 split between 2 of the games were against Bucks opening night and the shootout against the Pacers, and then 2 games against teams missing some of their best players. So the Cleveland without Donovan Mitchell, and the Celtics without Porzingis and Jaylen Brown, which we discussed on this team. But that's where that's where my question goes here, Eric. Why do you think the Sixers have such a hard time against teams without some of their best players? I just feel like those are the Celtics game we talked about. That should have been a gimme. That should have been a game we won. And then the Cleveland Cavs game, another game we should have won without Donovan Mitchell.
Well, I mean, teams, when you're down and most people think you're going to lose, it's almost like, a free game, a free ball where, the expectations aren't there. So guys just come and play free. And it's normal for other teams to kind of have a letdown a little bit if teams are missing the guy. I mean, that's normal. You would think that in professional sports, guys would let's just go win the game no matter who they have. But I think we put ourselves in situations where these teams hang around and they're playing, and before you know it, these teams teams are in a game. It's a third or fourth, and now all of a sudden, they can beat you. So we just put ourselves in a situation where these teams are fighting back, and as long as they continue to do that, and as long as they can continue to do that, we may see more of these. Like if you got to kind of put the hammer down quickly, and if you don't, you let them hang around. Before you know it, I mean, they're still pros. They can beat you, or things can go wrong, or you can start missing shots. Usually it's a combination of things. You miss some shots, turn the ball over, one guy gets hot, and before you know it's the end of the game, and now you're kind of playing against the scoreboard where you're down 6 with 3 minutes left, and you just can't quite catch up. It's no different than if you're in practice, and when you practice, the first team don't always beat the second team, even though everybody knows the first team is better. But if you play a short clock, you basically playing a short clock, and the game is there to be taken. It will be, because it's not a series. So if you're talking about a series from team winning 4 out of 7, or 6 out of 10, or whatever it is, that's different. The better team will usually win that series. But when it's one game, it can happen. So I just think the focus that you got to have, and you got to maintain that from the beginning and maintain it all the way through. And sometimes I think that the approach and the defensive approach changes and shifts, because they always feel like, no, we don't have to address the top player because he's out. I've always been one to say, well, whomever the top player is, now that top player is gone, you approach that top player the same way.
Yeah, the next guy, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he becomes a top player. But some people just abandon it all and just play people straight up before you know it. And when that top player is out, somebody's going to take his place.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, sometimes it's collectively, but everybody's points are moving up. So attack it the same way. Well, whoever's the next man in line for them, that next man in line have to see more attention, have to see some doubles, or have to see some others. And most times those guys aren't used to being defended that way.
And it's usually not even because, the NBA, so many stacked rosters out there. The top 2 guys on a lot of teams, I'm going to say most teams, but a lot of teams are pretty similar and close. So that guy, the second guy, doesn't have to really step up that much more. It's the 3rd and 4th and 5th guys that have to kind of pick up slack. And I think those are the guys that can, score.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is most number 2 guys don't get consistently double teamed.
Yes.
So if you now all of a sudden you move a number 2 guy and you attack him, now I guarantee you he's going to be tired of war out, because he's not used to play that way. And now you got 3 or 4 that has to step up in a different manner.
Yeah.
Not just scoring, but they have to step up in a more of maybe a playmaking, or have the ball more versus catch and shoot, or when it's a substitution and you got to step up. Now it's like you got to do it and maintain that for a whole game. That's different. But most teams don't approach it that way. I've always felt that you just, whatever game plan you have for number 1, you have for number 2 if number 1 isn't playing.
Yeah.
But you'll be surprised many teams don't do that. They just, if you're doubling number 1, they won't double number 2. They'll stick with the same game plan on number 2 that they had if number 1 was playing.
Yeah, which is crazy if you think about it, because that team who's missing their best player has the next man up. So
yes.
like Mitchell, you're out. All right, Garland, you're our Mitchell.
Now it's Garland.
Yes. But we're not saying oh, he's the Mitchell. We're going oh, that's Garland.
That's Garland. We're gonna play him the same way we play Garland and Mitchell play. Yeah.
True. Yeah. It's very true. When a best player is out, their second best player has been getting us pretty good anyway, and the third best players. Most
second best players can do more than they do when
the
situation presents itself.
Yep.
Sometimes the second best player on nights where they're both healthy are the best player on that team, right? Like
they're capable of any night of being that guy. Yes.
Yeah. They just have a higher usage when that guy's out, so they have more opportunities to do that. Like the Cavs starters, 4 of them had 18 points or more against us that game. Allen, I don't want to use the word dominated, but Allen gave it to Embiid pretty good. He had one of his best nights of his career. He had 26 and 13, season high in scoring, second highest rebounding total of the season. It was his second highest mark for field goal makes in his career, tied for his high in attempts in his career. His 4th highest scoring total of his career. Strus had one of his classic Miami games against us at 5 threes. Then against Boston, 3 scorers, 18 or more. Horford had 14 against us, season high. I think he had 4 threes in that game. I noticed too. I saw 2 trending topics after both those games about Maxey being guarded a lot more physical in those 2. Both Cleveland and Boston try to really get at him and slow them down so we don't just run away with it like we were talking about earlier. He had a combined 37% shooting out of those 2 games, 8% lower than his season average. So they did something there to, make him think twice. One positive I could take away from all this is in the playoffs, you're not resting players. So unless a guy is just out for the series or really hurt, I mean, we are going to get a full arsenal from every team we play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, Eric, people, the public kind of talks about when teams like, for example, the playing down aspect. I know you kind of went over that a little bit, but is that something in the locker rooms? Like, for example, when you guys see the injury reports come out, like, okay, for example, Donovan Mitchell's out tonight. Okay. Like, is there kind of like a sense of relaxation in the locker room when it comes to that stuff? Or is it, I mean, obviously it shouldn't be that way, but like, is there a little bit of that, you think?
I mean, like when I played, I would address it. Like he's not playing, but look, he's not playing, but we gotta step up and play because these other dudes are coming to take care of their advantage, their opportunity rather. So we'll have to come in and we'll have to address that because we know guys are coming in ready. Guys are coming in ready, and somebody's trying to step up. Somebody's trying to come and make a name for themselves or get a contract for themselves, and so they're fighting for their livelihood. So you got to take it. You can't take it any less or any different. You got to probably be even more focused in on what guys do and their tendencies and what do you need to do defensively in the game plan and be locked into all of that to limit those guys from doing more. But that's why you have to always pay attention to everybody and know what they do well and what they really like to do.
Especially if we're going back to what we talked about earlier, which is get at them early so they feel a little more defeated with an underhanded team, undermanned team. Yeah. Like we weren't supposed to win anyway. We're without Jaylen Brown and Porzingis tonight. We weren't even supposed to win. We're down by 15.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than when we played without AI. I mean, people didn't necessarily say we would win. So you felt that. You felt like, you felt good to go out there and win some games when they didn't play, and you can tell when people kind of like looked at you differently or felt that you couldn't do anything. Like all of that happened, so you were aware of that.
Just expecting you to lose because you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Playing with house money at that point.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to Teja talk about hot starts and coming out right at the gate. We're going to talk about somebody on our team who's hasn't been doing that, but last night he kind of showed up a little bit in the first half of the game. But there's been a lot of talk about Tyrese Maxey not being aggressive to start games. He's averaging by far his lowest point total in the first quarter, which is about 3.4 points a game. The other 3 quarters, he's averaging 7.7 points per quarter. Last night, he exploded for 20 points in the first half of the game, and he told Coach Nurse that he needed to be more aggressive to open the game. And Nurse's response to that was, shit, I only tell you that every day. So what are your guys' thoughts on Tyrese Maxey's slow starts to open games? What do you think why do you think that's happening?
I mean, in my opinion, it's tough to do. I mean, we say we want him to be a point guard and lead guard and involve other players and get people involved. if you come out and you're getting yours, and then all of a sudden, we know Joel's going to get his, and now what Joel's doing, then you got pretty much two people taking all the shots. So I believe we're his slow start. I don't really necessarily believe them. I don't really think they're slow starts. Slow starts to me is not making shots. His has been more of not as aggressive. But if the aggressiveness comes and he maintains it through the game, I think the aggressiveness comes with him situational, especially in the fourth quarter, and I think closing quarters. But I personally have no issue with his start. I think that he needs to notice how things are going. If we're having a slow start and Joel don't have it going, or Tobias, we aren't getting any points from anywhere else, then you're like, all right, well, let me kind of pick it up and kind of start attacking. So to me, it's more of a feel for how the game is going, and kind of fill it out and see that, okay, maybe I need to be more aggressive. And that's part of his growth. I mean, you have to always remember, I mean, he's a young guy from NBA terms.
Yeah.
So I would say I would look more that way instead of just saying him come out and he just needs to be the same aggressive guy and go score all the baskets been getting game. I mean, I do like his energy level is different. I think that beginning of the game fit more of a mold when James was here than now. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great outlook on it, right? You're pretty much saying, like, I think he knows his game so well. He knows he can just, because a buddy of ours we talked to a lot, he's watched a lot more Philadelphia games this year, and he even said, like, sometimes I look at the box score and I can't believe Maxey has as many points as he does. And I was like, it's because he scores such a high volume in such a short amount of time. Like he'll have like 13 in like 2 minutes, and all of a sudden his point total went from like 13 to 26, and you're like, whoa, I didn't even realize he had 26 points. So I think he knows that about himself. So he's like, you know what? Let me try to get other people involved first. And then I know at any given moment, I'm shake that Coke bottle up and open that cap and watch it spray out. So that's a really good outlook on it. It's interesting too, because if you look at his third quarter was his second lowest scoring. I think that one's at five something. And then the other ones are like 8 and 9. So he comes out of each half a slower starter. It doesn't worry me at all, though. I'm like you said too. He's not only young; it's a brand new role, full-time role for him. Having Harden on the team for the last year and a half, it really kept Maxey from having to be in the position to get other people involved while getting himself warmed up. It's hard, man. It's a hard thing to do. You know that, obviously. You're the initial source for offense for you and for others, right? And you have another guy who you got to feed. So it's not just Maxey's on a team with a lot of good shooters. You just got to like distribute him as he gets doubled and they hit shots. You have a guy who wants the ball a lot. So you have to make sure he gets his. You have to make sure guys stay engaged. And you also have to not be passive. So that's a lot to take on for a first time. I mean, he's doing it beautifully.
It's a huge responsibility.
Oh, man.
So that's why I said I have no issue with him doing that. Like that. That's not an issue for me at all.
It's like a quarterback who's really good at running too, but he also has like a bona fide stud number one receiver. He's like, I have to keep him in it. I have a good tight end. I have another good number two receiver, but I also need to call my own number when it's time to run and just take off too. So it's like it's a balance there you have to do. It's not like it's not working. I mean, what are we complaining about? Him not scoring 9 points a quarter?
I just don't get it. I mean, when you see what he's doing, like to be honest with you, when Marcus put this down as a topic, like I didn't look at the games and watch the games and feel that.
Yeah,
I really didn't.
Yeah,
that was an issue that's something that I would pick. Like that would be, I wouldn't like. I think Maxey's doing well.
Yeah, I think he is too. It's become a topic online because I think he's so good on other quarters. It's like, wait a minute, I noticed you don't do a lot. You don't do as much in the first quarter, but I mean, his overall output's incredible. He's not like.
I mean, I don't. I think that's a reach. I wouldn't have that as a concern. It's not a concern of mine.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, I think it's situations or games where it may be different. But yeah, I think that's a reach to complain about that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the back and forth between him and Nurse is interesting too, because it's like, well, I tell him that every day. You tell him just to be aggressive overall, or you tell him to be aggressive to start games, because those are two different things, right? Like he is an aggressive scorer. He is all game from start to finish. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if you want a guy to do that every single minute, every single game, right?
Yeah, I mean, some guys you kind of tell them to be aggressive. Like I've always told you, like being aggressive isn't always just scoring. So some of the aggression, you can just be aggressive in making plays, aggressive in picking up defensively. So it's not always scoring, but in this particular situation, when we think of Maxey, everyone thinks it's about scoring. Mm-hmm. So it could be something else. In my opinion, if it's just about him scoring and getting baskets, I don't particularly agree with that.
Yeah.
Eric, let me ask you a quick question about Maxey while we're just talking about his aggressiveness. Obviously, you're a great defender. How would you guard Maxey? Do you ever watch him and be like, I would make him do this? I would try this on him? How would you approach him?
I would limit his right-hand drives as much as possible.
Yeah, yep.
I know he likes to shoot going left. I would trap him more. And so I would, try to make him catch the ball out a little further and limit his catches on the run, because he likes to catch on the go and use his speed to get separation.
Yeah.
So doing things to break up his speed, break up his rhythm. Whether you step in front of him, make him go backdoor some, top lock him a little bit. But when doing that stuff, you got to be locked in on your help defense as well. So it's not just that one person. That one person can do things, but it has to be a system that's in that everyone else is understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah. Let's not show anyone this stuff.
So yeah, I would send him away. A lot of the times when we hand off and he comes and get it, like I would start sending him away or start trapping him a lot. A lot of people won't trap him because he's coming off Joel a lot. So I would send him away. I would send him and make Joel and all those guys throw some more backdoor passes. Just make backdoor passes.
I noticed on some of those handoffs, Cleveland, some of their longer big men like Mobley, who can move, and Allen's pretty mobile too. They were trying to make him. They were chasing him out almost to like the half court line. They were like, you know what? Start from scratch again. Go out there. Yeah, and they were pulling back.
The aggressive trap where you just go and we just gonna go, and then, but they also the ability that Cleveland has, so they can do that because then they're rotating another big to Joel, where most teams aren't.
Yes, it's true.
So yeah, you trap them, get it out. Now you play them 1-on-1. They get a pick and roll, and you can kind of do it the same thing. And now you got them playing against the clock. Yeah, you kind of mix it up, and you'll see a lot more of that in the playoffs. You'll see a lot more of that in the playoffs, and that's when we were talking about a while ago. We were talking about Philly's offense and how creative and everything was. But if you watch since that point, all we doing is pick and rolls and handoffs.
Yeah,
that's basically all we do.
Bread and butter, baby.
But that's what I said. Like every team pretty much does all this action to come back to the same thing. Get your best players to basketball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other stuff just breaks the habit a little bit.
Gets them to make a mistake beforehand.
Yep. It's all window dressing until you go back to the same old thing.
Yes.
So sticking with Tyrese Maxey, so last night, or against the Lakers, He had 30 points and 8 assists and no turnovers. I feel like it's like a common thing now. It's either no turnovers or 1 turnover for Maxey. And this little stat nugget that I saw from our friend of the program, Trill Bro Dude, quote, Tyrese Maxey has the lowest turnover percentage of any player with at least 25% usage and a 25% assist rate since the merger. Pretty interesting. So currently he stands as the odds-on favorite for most improved player in the
merger, like the merger, like as an ABA, NBA.
Yeah.
They kept stats for these guys back then.
I guess he posted a list of it too. So I saw like Jordan. I saw all-time names on that list.
Yeah. Okay.
Skeptical.
What did you say? No, I'm just saying. Like, I just don't know how you kind of like grab that stuff. It's just different, you know. Anyway, he did what now?
You want to read the stat again?
No, just the last part you said.
Oh, okay.
You said since the merger.
Yes, since the merger. So he's also on top of doing stuff that hasn't been done since the merger. He's also the odds-on favorite for most improved player right now. Obviously, only small sample size, only a month into the season. But I want to do a kind of a Tyrese Maxey heat check here, since he's kind of he's the hot topic. I know we have the reigning MVP, but he's the hot topic right now. So I want to ask you guys, I'm going to go down 3 different things. I want to ask you guys if he checks the box yet, in your opinion. So I'm going to go, do you think Tyrese Maxey as right now is an all-star?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think Tyrese Maxey is an all-star starter as of right now?
Should be, will not.
I agree with that too. Yeah, he's a little behind. He's a little behind in the name recognition.
Yeah, I just don't think that he'll go in front of
Halliburton.
That's another name right
now. He can go in front of Halliburton.
Yeah,
but he'll go in front of Halliburton to me in popularity because he's in Philadelphia.
Yep.
But I don't know if he'll go in front of Halliburton
for coaches,
players. But I still think, I mean, you still got Mitchell, you still got Dame, you still got whatchamacallit. We got to remember that Tatum is listed as a guard too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right.
So Tatum, he'll be the #1 guard as far as votes.
That's true. Yeah, they don't hard stick to the point shooting guard. They just do 2 guards, right?
Yes, they just do 2 guards.
Okay, yeah, that's going to throw it off for sure then. Yeah. But yeah,
so he has some competition, and it really depends on how people still look at Mitchell. Obviously, Dame has fans no matter how he's playing, and if Milwaukee still has one of the top 3 records, he'll be up there. Tatum's going to be up there. I mean, like I said, Mitchell has this fan base, and people voting for him. Is like, if you're not paying attention to if you're just picking guys and you're not paying attention like we do with the Sixers, and people aren't paying attention to these guys, they're going to pick name recognition in most cases. So say, for instance, the Boston fans that want to pick Tatum, like, who's going to be their second guy? Is it a Philly guy?
Yeah.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
The next best guy is another Boston guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But would a Philly fan pick Tatum, though? That's where it's different.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know if Sixers fans are fond of Jason Tatum, but they know what he's capable of because he goes off.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they would pick him because I don't like Boston, but he is good.
Yeah.
Can you bring yourself to do it, though? That's the question.
Yeah. So you may be a Boston fan, like, I got Tatum, and no, I'll take Dame over him. And that's a legitimate argument if you're talking about careers.
Yep.
It's true.
That's why I just like I think he's in. Especially if he continues at this pace, he's comfortably in. I just don't know
if he will get in.
I think he will get in. I just don't know if he get in as a starter, especially in the first year. Especially in the first year.
Yeah. He also Brunson could be another guy up there. The New York fan base, Yeah. It's another guy to throw in there.
Yes, they easily get more votes.
Trae Young.
Yep. You see what I'm saying? And traded what? Did Trae not make it last year too?
Did he get snubbed?
I think he did get snubbed.
He might have gotten snubbed.
Him and James, I believe, didn't make it.
Did they add Trae for whatever that injury was when they went on the Harden decline? Was that Trae that they added at the end?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Sure, if I remember right, I don't think he got in because Brunson – did Brunson get in?
Yeah, Brunson got that last spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you still got Trae. I mean, I didn't even, think about – and then you're looking at I'm not sure about his injury, but you look at what LaMelo Ball's done like the last 10 games.
Yep. That's another flashy guy who has the name, Rick.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
That's why I said he will, should start, but I don't think he will. But he'll get in though, especially if the Sixers stay on, one of the top teams. He'll get in.
Yeah. And final question here: do you think Tyrese Maxey will make an All-NBA team?
That's going to be even harder because that list we developed for the East. That's that does that when you do All NBA.
No, I don't think he will.
Because you got SGA on that list.
Do I think he will have a All NBA season? Yes. Do I think he will make All NBA 3 teams, 6 guards? No, unfortunately not. I mean, you go to the West, man. You got the kid from OKC.
SGA.
You got Luka,
De'Aaron Fox.
You got Steph Curry.
Before
you even go anywhere else.
Yeah.
You got those 3.
Yeah.
Right?
And then you got like, say for instance, Minnesota, the way they're playing finishes in the top 4. You got Edwards you got to deal with. I know.
So that's just boom. To be honest with you, like, I don't know if, I guess John Morant can't play enough games, but I was just saying, just how it depends on how he comes back and if he turns that team around. But I don't think he's going to play in enough games to make it. And then you go to the East. We're loving what Maxey's doing, but like Maxey gave the Pacers 50, but during that same 2-game span, Halliburton averaged 30 and 16.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like some crazy numbers.
Yeah.
So
what do you think he would have to do in order to say what kind of numbers would he have to have?
And also remember, Tatum is a guard.
Yeah.
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 So
what we have to do, I think, sustain this all season.
Yeah, he has to sustain this, and we have to stay obviously atop. It would help us to win the conference.
Yep.
I think that would be his best chance to do it if we win the conference and we have some separation between 2. Like, we're clearly the top team in the East, if not the top team in the league. Sort of the year that when we had the best record, a season like that.
Yep.
For the team, and then he continue to play the way he's playing. Because I think where he is, he's going to need a great deal of team success with his success to be All NBA.
Yep.
To pass some of those other guys. Because we all know Steph Curry can make first a team All NBA and they had a 7 seed.
Yeah.
But Maxey can't do that.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's like it's different.
He's currently 11th in scoring, 10th in assists. He's averaging almost a block and a steal a game. I think he's like 0.7 and 0.8. 11th in assist to turnover ratio. And the only guys that come anywhere near him in usage or they're ranked above him are Van Fleet and Chris Paul. He's actually above Halliburton in assist turnover ratio, as good as Halliburton is at that stat. Barely, but he is above him. I just saw a cool stat from Rich Hoffman, too. League-wide assist combo passer to score rankings. Maxey to Embiid is number 2 overall in the league. Embiid to Maxey is 12. Wow. You know Embiid is 11th overall in assists, right?
Yep.
Well, that's what I said. They play 2-man game. It's just basically them 2.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying before. Like, it's basically them 2 playing 2-man game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that him playing with Joel will hurt more than help as far as voting. Not as far as winning. Because I think he's going to start getting some of the Jamal Murray treatment.
Yeah.
But he's good, and we didn't know he was that good, but
he's got him.
They're not putting you on the teams, the top teams and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. especially for rival fans.
Yeah.
I'll put Embiid on there. I'm not putting 2 Philadelphia 76ers as my starter. You get one. You get one.
That's what I'm saying. So I just don't see people putting both of them on there, especially the voters. Like, I don't know who do this voting. I really don't. I know I don't have a vote, but I just don't see most of them doing it. Like, I mean, they didn't even think a lot of them didn't even think Joel was MVP, and now they're gonna put 2 people on there. Like,
I know. I was just gonna say Embiid has a hard enough time getting all NBA first team himself.
Yeah.
Even he's not a shoo-in year in, year out.
Exactly. You look at the most MVP rankings, he's maybe like not even in the top 3.
Yeah.
Most of these rankings.
Which is crazy because his stats overall are actually they're better than they were last year.
Yeah.
He's averaging 32, 11, and almost 7.
He's a playmaker now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Maxey gets all 3 of the trifecta that we're talking about here.
Man.
Okay, so we're gonna go to our final topic here. So Wednesday night, our 76ers travel to New Orleans. And I don't think looking at injury reports, I don't think there's really I think Oubre actually might play in this one, so we'll have Kelly back potentially. I know he's traveling, so we're gonna see tomorrow at shoot around. But New Orleans, I don't think they have any injuries right now. Zion came back last night, so it looks like they'll be fully healthy. No McCollum still, but it looks like they'll be fully healthy outside of CJ McCollum. Who do you guys have? The line's not out yet in this one, but who do you guys have, and what are you looking for against New Orleans tomorrow night?
I think we could pull it out. I mean, my concern is Zion and how we're going to defend him. Be interesting to see if we put Joel on him. And if we don't, then I guess you'll start Joel on the big fella. But who's going to guard him? Should we put Tobias on him?
Yeah.
I know he don't have the energy to really go and snag 15 rebounds and all, but he's so efficient around the rim.
That or Batum. I think between those two, I'd probably rather.
No, Batum got to guard Ingram.
Harris got a little more meat on him.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously think Batum has to be on Ingram. Yeah. Ingram's playing, correct?
Yep. That's a much better matchup for sure.
There, I think we pull it out. It's going to be close, though.
Yeah. I agree. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be within like 6 points.
Yeah.
Is that New Orleans? Is New Orleans a tough place to play, Eric? You played against the Hornets, right?
Yeah, I played in New Orleans too. I mean, their crowd is good. I mean, it's one of those places where you can have a good, like we had a good following. Like we would have some fans there. Their fans get into it. It wasn't a place that I felt like the noise hindered anything. Or hindered communication.
Yeah. I know some quarterbacks say playing in New Orleans in football is a kind of a tough place to play. But I mean,
New Orleans I heard was really tough. The football team, yes, I did hear that. We don't have. It's a lot of places I would pick over basketball for as far as being louder. A lot of places.
More of an impactful arena.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that does it for us. We'll be seeing you guys Friday as we preview Game 3 of the Sixers-Celtics series already in the season. Not even 30 games in, not even 20 games in yet. We're already playing Celtics 3 times. Crazy.
Yeah. All right. Ready to go.
But all right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll see you guys Friday. Take it easy, fellas.
Take it easy.
Later, guys.